Welcome to the AwesomeShit.Ninja podcast, Pajamas and Katanas, with your host, West and the Captain. This week's special guest, Janelle, the Captain's wife.
So transparency, everybody. This is take 9. Take 9, Captain. I think we got it this time.
I'm pretty sure with podcasts, it's supposed to be you record the whole time and then you post it online. We don't do that.
Right, no, because we're perfectionists. And
Right, we don't play that
retentive.
game. No.
Anyways, this is the official AwesomeShit.Ninja podcast, Pajamas and Katanas. I am your co-host, West, alongside the Captain.
And we are recording here down the Hidden Dojo in New Jersey.
Oh my goodness, we'd tell you where it was.
But it wouldn't be hidden.
It's a paradox. Wrapped in a riddle, trapped inside a conundrum. And of course, as always, the Captain's wife, Janelle, behind the glass. That's her real name, so it's not copyright infringement. I dig it. Today on the show, we got video game releases for the month of November 2014, our awesome shit of the week, and we count down the best Nintendo 64 theme songs of all time. So definitely stay tuned for that. But right now, let's get into hot topics and what's trending. First up, who in the hell is Alex from Target?
He's a teeny tween bopper guy.
A teeny tween bopper?
I don't know what you call it.
That's the first time you've ever sounded old
I
in your
know.
life. How's it feel?
I know.
How's it feel to sound old?
Let me tell you something. When I see the shit that like young teenagers get excited for, I don't know what's going to happen when we get old and these people are running the country because
Can I just say something?
It's so ridiculous. Bieber.
Back in high school, I think back to high school where I still thought I liked girls, and that was funny. But back when I was in high school, like, you had to try really hard to get a girl to have sex with you.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. These bitches are thirsty, man. Like, and I just learned that term, so now I sound hip. And now I don't sound hip anymore because I just was referential. But these girls, this is what happened. I know this is about a week old, which in the Twitter sphere is like 8 years. But we're recording this the week before. Duh, this shit's not live. Spoiler alert. So Alex from Target is this 16-year-old kid who had been working at Target for less than like 3-4 months. This girl comes in, takes a picture of him bagging her shit, insert pun here, puts it on Twitter, and within 24 hours, he's got 250,000 Twitter followers. Within 3 days, he had almost 600,000, and within 3 days, he was a guest on the Ellen DeGeneres show. How does this happen?
This just goes to show that there is no hope.
God. There is no God. You hear that, atheists? You have proof now. This is unbelievable. This kid is now, I believe, has more Twitter followers than the ghost of Gandhi.
Yeah, it's
You know what's funny is I guarantee you that girl, the girl who was assaulted by the Taliban, the teenage girl that won the Nobel Prize,
does not have as many followers as Alex from Target.
Well, I don't know if she has Twitter, but but here's the thing. Even me, I don't know her name. It's Malala Mekalakalakahai Mekahaini Ho or something like that.
That's so racist.
No, it's not. It's something like that.
Is so racist.
No, it's not. Her last name's not Timberlake. It's hard to pronounce. I can't do it.
Right.
I can't do it. I don't. Whatever.
So if anyone sees anyone with their pants down next to a goat, you know who it was. It's not racist because it's true.
Man, but the point is, now that we're talking about goat fucking, the point is, we all know that Alex from Target is Alex from Target. I don't know the name of the girl who got shot in the head by the Taliban, actually changed the world for standing up for education for women in the Middle East and rights for women.
Well, she won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right.
But then again, so did Obama, so...
Yeah. That's
the
racist.
Nobel Peace Prize doesn't really stand for much anymore.
Oh, my God. Political commentary?
Oh, I'm just saying it wouldn't be bad if he did something, but he won it just for becoming president.
Why
which
do you
I find
have to
really
always make this
up.
a political podcast? 2 weeks ago, we're on the air, and you took the BBC to task for their historical documentation of medieval times, and now you're talking about Obama.
Listen,
I'm just trying to talk about
British,
shitty...
if the British Broadcasting Corporation is going to cover something, they should probably know a little bit about British history. That's all I'm saying.
Holy shit, man. I'm just sitting here trying to talk about 16-year-old boys on Twitter, and that makes me sound like a coach at Penn State. So we're going to move on to the next
Let's
topic.
move on to the next subject. Grumpy Cat.
Oh, my God. Have you seen this trailer for the Grumpy Cat Christmas movie?
No.
It's called Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever. And we reviewed it last week on AwesomeShit.Ninja. You can check it out, see the full trailer there. Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever is a Lifetime movie, which means that because it's on Lifetime, the plot has something to do about somebody losing their baby or having a really fucked up period or something.
Did Oprah write it?
What?
Did Oprah write it?
No, Oprah has her own network now. She doesn't need Lifetime.
That's right. She doesn't
Yeah,
need Lifetime
it's
anymore.
probably, I'm surprised it doesn't have, what's that girl in all the Lifetime movies? Like, not Kirstie Alley, the
I
other
don't know,
fat
'cause I
one
don't-
from the 80s.
I don't watch Lifetime movies.
Oh, see,
So I'm not
you
sure.
answered the trick question correctly.
Oh.
You answered the trick question correctly. But it's called Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever, which may be the worst Christmas movie ever when all is said and done. Grumpy Cat is voiced by Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Recreation. Now, like, first of all, did you know Grumpy Cat was a girl cat?
No.
In real life, Grumpy Cat is a girl cat. It's a female cat.
I don't differentiate between male and female cats. I just hate them both.
Really?
I hate cats.
Yeah.
I hate cats.
Now, here's a question for you. You're a guy, right?
Yes.
You have a female dog, right?
Yes.
Wonderful female dog. I love her. She's fantastic.
Yes.
Right. So when your wife, Tennille, pets the female dog, is that a little lesish? Is that a little lesbianish? Lesbianic?
I don't think so, because the dog's more like, my dog looks like a Muppet. So it's kind of like, you can't really look at it like that.
Well, okay, but I mean, there's still like female and male Muppets, right? Or do Muppets not have genitalia?
No, I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that. I mean,
No?
it's implied, but
Right? I don't know how we get these
you never
places.
see Miss Piggy like taking off her bra. So,
Does she wear one, though?
well, that's what I'm saying. They don't even show, so it's just
Yeah.
it's implied. But
Has anyone ever seen, does Miss Piggy wear a bra? I've never seen her with a bra strap. I've never seen a bra strap hanging out. Does she just wear strapless bras? Hang on, Tennille coming in from the booth. Female perspective. Dun da da da.
Do frogs have penises?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Freeness.
Science class.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that male frogs have penises, yes.
So would Miss Piggy lay an egg?
No.
No. No.
No.
Would she?
They don't teach this stuff in
Interspecies
English,
frog pig.
English schools, huh?
I gotta tell you, you guys really go off on a tangent. Just saying.
So anyway,
we weren't talking about frogs and pigs fucking until you walked over here.
Anyway,
so we're back on Grumpy
let's talk
Cat.
about Grumpy Cat.
This is the important thing out of all this, whether or not frogs and pigs can technically have sex or Muppet sex. The official Twitter of Grumpy Cat follows us now at AwesomeShit.Ninja. So why aren't you? It's at ASNinja Reviews. At ASNinja Reviews on Twitter. Grumpy Cat follows us. Why don't you? The answer is because you're lame, I think, right? Is that
No, if you're not following, then yes.
right?
But if you follow, then that doesn't apply to you.
Mm-hmm. And if you followed us, by the way, you would know that Harry Potter can rap. He can
Yeah.
drop some funky, fresh, sick rhymes, yo. Did you
I
see
haven't
this?
actually watched the video.
You haven't yet. Daniel
Well, I was
Radcliffe.
trying to watch TV, and Tennille was watching it on her phone,
Was she?
which is always louder than the TV.
How is that possible? How is it that no matter how loud you put an entire television, this tiny phone is always louder?
I don't understand.
There's something about like sound dynamics or something, but it's always that way.
That's right.
Why is it that when you're like say anywhere, if you're watching TV or you're watching a movie and somebody has headphones in, how is it you can hear what's going on in their headphones louder than the television?
I think it's because it's obnoxious, so your head just goes to it. Like when I'm trying to watch TV shows,
Yeah.
and my wife is watching Jimmy Fallon videos on her phone.
I got to say, and this is just as we talk about, because Daniel Radcliffe was rapping on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Is it wrong of me to say that I really expected Fallon to suck at this job? Like, I really expected him to suck at The Tonight Show.
Well, judging by his inability to keep a straight face doing anything
on
Saturday Night Live, I thought he would totally blow it. But it actually, it works. It works well for his talk shows. He does a great job.
I think so. I think my favorite segment of his Box of Lies, by the way, if you have not seen Box of Lies, fantastic. The one he did with Tina Fey was great. But this segment was pretty good. This segment, Daniel Radcliffe said he was a hip-hop fan, which, makes sense because he's from Gryffindor. And, yeah, that all fits together really nicely. Gryffindor and hip-hop. Because if anybody knows anything, it's that crimson and gold scarves attract the dime piece bitches. I got nothing else. It just doesn't make any sense. So not only did he get up,
make the street go round,
right? Yeah, my foe, make sure your kids don't grow. I can't wrap my head around this. Daniel Radcliffe gets on the stage at The Tonight Show and not only raps, but he does Alphabet Aerobics by Black Alicious, which is one of the more difficult hip-hop pieces to actually perform, and he gets all the way through it with The Roots as his backing band, which is just the weirdest thing. Like, the whole thing is just very odd.
The fact that The Roots play as his backing band blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Totally blows my mind.
Yeah, I have no idea what to say about it other than I thought Emma Watson, if anybody from the Harry Potter movies was gonna rap and rap well, I was gonna be Emma Watson.
I would have to agree with that.
I thought that Emma could throw down. But apparently, Harry Potter can rap. Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Anyway,
I can't even Before we move on, I need to ask you out there listening, AwesomeShit.Ninja@gmail.com, or leave a comment on our YouTube page below the video of the podcast here. Did you see this? What did you think of Harry Potter's rap performance on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon? Did Daniel Radcliffe deliver, or are we just making too much of this? Just leave us a comment.
Yeah.
Let us know what's going on. If it's good, we'll read it on the air.
Yep, there we have it.
So let's get into some movies, shall we?
Let's do what's out there right now.
Cool. So let's see. Weekend of November 7th. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the 3 big releases from last weekend. And first of all, we're going to pretend that we didn't see them because we saw some of them. We're going to pretend we didn't see them, though. We're going to tell you if we had any interest in seeing them or not, or if we're going to go see them this coming weekend. Matthew McConaughey stars in Interstellar. Anne Hathaway also in it. It's Christopher Nolan directed. It's a big sci-fi adventure. Just looks like a huge, sprawling film. I don't know why it's not grabbing me, Captain. I don't know why, because it seems like the whole universe wants to see this movie. It's just not.
I have no desire to see it.
It's not grabbing me.
I haven't seen it. I have no desire to see it. I don't know why.
Like, this is like, and you're going to think I'm crazy. I've never seen Avatar.
What?
Never seen Avatar.
What?
Not at all. And I have no desire to see it.
What?
Yeah. And it's like this. I don't want to say that Interstellar is going to be as big as Avatar, but it's this big, sprawling, epic thing that everybody in the universe wants to see. Got no interest in seeing it.
So you know what? Avatar, I saw it in IMAX.
Right.
And in 3D. And I saw it on my TV. Not the same when you get home.
Yeah, totally different movie.
That's like one of those movies where you watch it in 3D on the big screen to interact with it and become part of that universe.
Right.
And then when you're watching it at home, it's the same thing as like...
Right, like the Lorax.
It's A Bug's Life.
Like the... Oh, we both just go for shitty movies at the same time. Well done. So Interstellar, less like Avatar, more like A Bug's Life, I think is what we've just decided here.
Yes.
Next, movie I don't care how young this makes me sound. Disney's Big Hero 6. I got to see this. I got to see this.
I don't even know what it's about. What is it?
Big Hero 6 is about a kid named Hero. It's kind of a fusion of Asian and Western
If there's
culture.
a kid named Hero, it's
Yeah.
obviously got Asian culture all over it.
Yes, and it takes place in San Francisco, which is a combination of Tokyo and San Francisco. Not
Wow.
joking, totally serious. And he and his robot fight crime. It's
Is this the one with the big...
the big puffy white.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
I want to see this.
It looks... Yeah, I
It
would
looks
see that.
really
I would see that.
funny, and it looks like there's just enough nods to like not adult humor, like hey, look at my
Right.
balls, but like humor for adults.
See, I don't know. I don't see that being a movie where I would pay to go see it, but I would definitely wait for it to come out on demand and
Okay.
watch it at home.
So you're saying on demand.
I would watch it on demand.
I'm absolutely seeing this in the theaters. There's
See,
no way I'm missing it.
I'm not getting that from. I'm not getting that. Oh, I have to go see this in the theaters.
Fair enough. Now, from the week before, I still haven't seen this, but this is also a must-see. The guy who does a lot of reviews for us, Dave Swan. You can check out his review. It should be up by now. I don't
Yeah,
see why
he
it wouldn't
reviewed
be.
this, right?
Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal. This is another must-see for me. This looks absolutely fantastic. It's Jake Gyllenhaal the way I like him, a little darker, a little creepier, like not at all in the way that he was in Donnie Darko, but I like Jake Gyllenhaal in kind of these edgier, darker
Right.
roles where he just seems to perform better. What's the one? Brothers with
Yep.
him and Tobey Maguire.
Yep.
I like him in movies like this.
Yeah, see, I think I'm looking forward to it. Again, not a movie I'm going to go out and see,
Okay.
but a movie I'll watch on demand.
Well, you have less
I'm-
free time.
Yeah, and I'm also picky with the movies I go and see,
Sure.
so there has to be something about it where you only get this experience when you go see it in the theater.
Understood.
But a lot of the movies that are out now, you don't have that. It's got the same value whether you're sitting at home watching it or whether you're at the theater watching it. Unless it's like a big action movie like Expendables.
Sure.
All the Expendables, you watch it at home, it's blow you away, crazy, a lot of shit going on, and you're jumping up and down your couch and you get to scream at it
Sure.
and all that and have fun. So it's two different interaction experiences. When you're seeing the Expendables in the theaters, you've got the explosions, you've got the bass is so high it's blowing your face and you feel like you're getting hit with these grenades and all that shit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just when you're seeing something like that, you're taking the visual and audio aspect of it and basically taking that in and it's blowing you away. And that's what I like to see when I go to the theater. There has to be something that has that factor in it where I'm just going to be blown away. I have to see this in the theater because you're going to lose half of the value from it.
Gravity. Great example. Doesn't even have to be like explosions and
Right.
stuff like that, but there's got to be an aspect to going to, especially now that you're paying somewhere between $12 and $86 for a movie ticket. It's gotta be worth it.
Well, if you're
It's
telling
gotta-
IMAX 3D, it's somewhere in the 3 digits.
Oh my God. Ridiculous. Anyways, we don't do segues, so Ninja Voice, segue for us.
Awesome Shit Ninja, go!
Listen, Captain, you put a really cool review up last week of your top 9 Nintendo 64 theme songs of all time.
I came up with this article totally by accident.
Really?
I was just surfing YouTube,
Sure.
and on my recommended videos that popped up, somehow Donkey Kong 64's opening rap video
Really?
popped up,
Of all things.
and I was like, they had an entire rap song
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
before the game even started.
Right?
And that's when I was like, you know what? I have to write this article.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's why about all these awesome songs, because it wasn't now. I mean, I'm not saying that theme songs now are dead, because some of my favorite theme songs these days are on the Xbox or PS4 or
Sure.
PS3 or Xbox One, whatever. But it's more cinematic. When you're talking Nintendo 64, this was the gap between the cheap 8-bit games and what we have now.
Right. So there was a need for theme songs. Whereas now, like, you go
Right.
get a song like, you go not a song, you go get a game like Destiny or something like that, and it's more like a movie score.
Right.
You know, there's very few games that have songs to them. Like, you'll get the quote-unquote radio stations on Grand Theft Auto, but that's not like having an official theme song for your game.
It's not the same. And not only that, this was a time where now you have a very diverse group of people playing these video games.
Right.
When you're talking Nintendo 64, I think it was something like 80 to 90% of the sales were all
Nerds.
younger kids,
Yeah.
nerds, geeks.
Me. You.
Yeah, it depended on what game you were playing.
Absolutely.
So everyone had GoldenEye, but it was
Everyone had GoldenEye.
It was like how many other games aside from that did you have?
Absolutely. So where we are,
and that's what kind of
so where we are is I asked Captain and also of myself to pick out your two favorite, all time above all else, two favorite Nintendo 64 game theme songs of all time. So, Captain, in either order, what's one of your top two Nintendo 64 game theme songs of all time?
Obviously, I got to go with Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Because that rap is just badass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they break shit down. You have the whole DK crew there, and they were all dancing and rapping and shooting shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. I mean, it is cheesy as hell, but it is awesome.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. I got to go with a game that I forgot existed until you published that article. I did. I'm going to go with Perfect Dark.
Yep.
It's so cool. I feel like Perfect Dark is one of those games that people forget kind of helped spawn your Resident Evils, helped spawn your kind of dark, twisted RPG type of action game. And the theme right at the opening credits just kind of takes you into it and does a really nice job of setting the tone.
Right. It wasn't super crazy like Donkey Kong or anything. It was a real chill kind of tone that had that kind of funky, outer spacey, alien vibe to it. And aside from that, the game just brought so much to the video game industry, and I find to be so overlooked.
Yeah. I think so. I couldn't agree with you more. I remember playing it and being like, this is kind of new. This is something new. You know, and it's back in 64 days, you know, you were dealing with a lot of Nintendo stuff, which not that it's bad, but you've got your very cartoonish Marios and Donkey Kongs and Bowsers and Yoshis and Links and what have you. And it was very different. It was something very, very different that Perfect Dark brought to the table. So what is your favorite N64 theme song? If you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you where I'm thinking.
I'll tell you
where I'm thinking. And it's hard for me to call it number one because it's not really an original theme song. You talked about it. Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
See,
can you call it because it was Guerrilla Radio by Rage Against the Machine? I don't think you can call it.
I don't think you can call that your favorite theme song.
No.
I would say that made the list because it was one of the first major bands that played that allowed their song to be used as a theme song.
Absolutely. And I think that had that not happened, you wouldn't have the soundtracks for Madden and the NBA Live games and what have you. I don't think that would have necessarily happened. Licensing songs for video games, Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Everything else was all MIDI.
Absolutely.
You know, done on the computer, and that was it. This was real
amazing.
Music
you hit it. And like you would like think you were going to get some MIDI version of Rage, but you get this song, and you're like, what is going on?
And then even the game, you're skating around. You've got Goldfinger playing, and you get all these bands playing. It's awesome,
right?
I would say my number one would be Ocarina of Time, and I think that's because as a whole, the whole game, really, the music. The game intertwined with the music so well, and it was such a necessity in there. I found that game to just resonate with me personally.
Yeah.
Because I was so heavy into music when I was younger, in all the different concert bands and marching band and whatever. Had my own rock bands on the side and stuff like that when I was in school. And I found it so interesting that you were playing this game and living this adventure that you play in a lot of other games nowadays, even the new Zeldas, where you're doing all this stuff, but everything is connected to this little ocarina that you have. And you kind of gain a whole new appreciation for the music in the game. So you're doing these things where the jocks are like, oh, that's so cool. And you're like, yeah, but what the fuck do you know about music? And then you're playing the game, and it kind of put you a little bit above the status of like the all the sports players when you were in school and things like that.
Right, and just have a game where the music and the score of it actually tied in directly to gameplay was so cool. And that's what I'm going to agree with you on, where I give it a little bit of a nod over, I'm sorry, Mario Kart 64 was so fun, dude. Like, just the song, like, back in the day, that song came on, and it's not like it's the best song in the world, but why I would have
it's almost like elevator music.
You know what
but
it is?
That's what worked about it.
But what it is like, if you heard it, you ran in the fucking room,
right?
And you grabbed a controller, and that's what it was. It was like the whole Pavlov's dog thing. If you, like, to this day, if I hear Mario Kart 64 playing somewhere, I'm looking for a controller.
That's it.
I want to play.
And you're waiting for the argument to start. All right, who's Yoshi? Who's Toad? Who's Shy Guy? Who's Luigi? So
that's it.
Yeah.
By the way, Toad, super underrated in that game.
Toad,
at least for my,
if you're looking for speed, Toad is your guy.
If you've got the handle, if you can handle,
yeah. If
Toad's
you're looking
guy.
for badass,
Shy
Guy.
Oh yeah,
I go
for sure.
Shy Guy.
For sure. It was so cool to have a character from Mario 2 in that game, because they never reference Mario 2, because it kind of isn't in the canon.
Yeah.
It doesn't follow the story. But whatever. So that's our I mean, if you love Nintendo 64 and you can't believe that we left out GoldenEye, sorry, we're unconventional. Again, leave us a comment.
I feel like that you can't really choose that because everyone knows it.
That's the cop-out answer.
I would say that would be the theme song to the Nintendo 64 generation.
Absolutely.
Because GoldenEye was a household name.
I'll put it this way. I was in college in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And we still played GoldenEye.
I still play GoldenEye. I have a Nintendo 64 in my bedroom.
Just
I
for
still play
GoldenEye,
it.
right? Because it's like I have certain old school consoles for certain things. I'm not ashamed of the fact I have Super Nintendo, so I can play A Link to the Past.
That's it.
I love that game. But N64 is GoldenEye, and that's it. So anyway, Ninja, take us to the next segment.
Awesome Shit Ninja. Whoa!
Cool, so we're back. We just got done talking a bunch of old school N64 video games. So, Captain, let's talk about some new video games. The month of November in 2014, it's got a lot of new releases in video games, but they're titles that you've already seen. That's what's interesting. You got old titles coming out for new platforms. For example, this just happened November the 4th. The Wolf Among Us came out for PS4 and Xbox One. If you've already, do you see, so basically you're the gamer here, I'm going to defer to you a little bit more than me here. Any reason to pick this up for Xbox One or PS4 if you already have?
I haven't played the Wolf Among Us games, but I've heard amazing things about it.
Sure.
From friends of mine that have played it. It's kind of got that same Borderlands kind of feel where it's very cartoony.
Sure.
You're basically interacting with animals. You're like a detective that's interacting with animals and other humans, and it's a really kind of funky storyline.
So it's like
almost reminiscing Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
So it's like film noir Dr. Dolittle.
Exactly. So it's really cool if you're into that whole cartoon game format
crossover.
And just really crazy storylines. I mean, it's pretty vulgar and stuff too. So
nice.
Definitely something to look into. I mean, it's a cool game. I've seen some playthroughs of it and stuff like that on YouTube, and it's a very, very cool game. If that interests you and you're into that whole genre, definitely check that out.
All right, so are you going to say Wolf Among Us for PS4 and Xbox One? Buy it, rent it, or skip it?
I would say, well, the problem is all video games are super expensive now.
Yeah.
I never like renting games.
Okay, so if you're going to do it, you're going to own it.
If you're interested in it, buy it used.
There you go.
If you're kind of iffy about it, then just wait for it to come on the like in the download section, your Xbox or PS4.
Fair enough. All right, so now there's a dual release on November 11th. Assassin's Creed Rogue for PS3 and Xbox 360, and Assassin's Creed Unity for Windows, PS4, and Xbox One. We got two Assassin's Creeds coming out in the month of November. Either one worth looking at?
I'll tell you what, I haven't even looked into it. I didn't even play the last Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it kind of. I
I
don't want to
looked at
say,
it, but after Assassin's Creed, was it 3 with Connor?
yeah,
I wasn't impressed. I thought the gameplay was really cool, but the storyline, I was really disappointed with. I thought that there were some cool concepts, but I think they kind of cheaped out. I mean, American Revolution, it was really cool being a part of all that, but you didn't have what draws you into all these Assassin's Creed games, and that's when you're looking back at the first Assassin's Creed, you're basically venturing out around the Holy Land during the Crusades.
right.
And even though it's a very repetitive game, it sucks you into it, and you just love exploring with it. When you're talking about the other games afterwards with Ezio, you're in Renaissance Italy. And again, you're traveling the countryside, you're in all these different cities, you're meeting historical figures, you're kind of journeying through the golden age of like a whole nother age of enlightenment. And that is very interesting and sucks you into it. With Assassin's Creed 3, you're there during the American Revolution, and there's nothing there that really sucks you into it. You see some cottages, you see some redcoats, you see some of the George Washington, some of his guys, and you're kind of going back and forth. The sea battles are pretty cool.
But by the same token, I saw the. I mean, it just kind of looked like Pirates of the Caribbean Light, that Pirates one that just kind of came out.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, in all these ship games, I will throw back to PS2. There was a game called, what was it called? It was Pirates, The Legend of Black Cat, I think it was. And you're this pirate, Black Cat, and you're commandeering ships, and you're having sea battles, and it's basically the same exact thing. So they basically just ripped off this game, Black Cat, and put it into Assassin's Creed. And honestly, I think Black Cat did a better job with it, and this was going back 10 years ago.
All right, so we've got a what sounds a little bit like a skip it for both the Assassin's Creed.
I'm iffy, and I haven't heard anything about it, obviously, because it's just coming out.
Sure.
I would wait on this a little bit, see what people say. Maybe we'll bring this back up in a couple of weeks.
Sure.
And we can get into it then.
Absolutely. So a trio of big releases on November the 18th. Looking at all platforms, the big release for across all platforms, major platforms, Far Cry 4 coming out on November 18th. It's for me, if you're a fan of the series, you get it. If you're just looking to get into the series now, don't.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Far Cry is, you really have to be in love with the system.
Absolutely.
So I tried out. I first got into it with Far Cry 2.
Sure.
And yeah, it was a little bit funky for me. The controls were a little bit clumsy. Mm-hmm. The gameplay was a little bit clumsy.
Sure.
So I had a tough time getting into it. That kind of turned me off the whole series.
It's not to me like, and they have nothing to do with one another, but it's not like a Call of Duty where each game can stand alone a little bit and you can jump in wherever.
Right.
Far Cry has got a little bit more of a. I mean, you could jump into Mass Effect later on in the series, but it's really advantageous if you started with the first game.
Right.
So
and Far Cry is the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Where you're not going to understand some plot points if you're just jumping in now. So, Grand Theft Auto 5, already out for a lot of platforms, coming out for PS4 and Xbox One. My take on this is if you love Grand Theft Auto, if this is your game and you've been waiting for it on PS4 Xbox One, get it. If you've already played it for another console that's maybe not so next-gen, it's not really. I don't think they're promising much different here.
Yeah, it seems to be the same thing you've done before. I mean,
sure. The thing that the game that is coming out for PS4 and Xbox One, the next-gen consoles, WWE 2K15. Now, the reason I spotlight this, if you are into wrestling games, if you are a wrestling gamer and you're going to get 2K15, you have to get it for Xbox One or PS4 because the thing is absolutely getting shit on for the lesser platforms or the older platforms, your PS3, your Xbox 360, because all the features that are new and improved for WWE 2K15 over 2K14 are next-gen features for the PS4, for the Xbox One. So my thing is, if you're going to get 2K15, 2K14 in my mind is a superior game. But if you're going to get 2K15 and you're not going to get it for Xbox One or PS4, hold off. These are the only two platforms to get WWE 2K15 for, just in my opinion, from what I've read, from what I understand to be true about this series. So that pretty much covers the major new video game releases for November. We'll be back the beginning of December to look around kind of the holiday times, kind of nose around the major video game releases for then.
Right.
But right now, it's time to get into Awesome Shit of the Week.
Awesome Shit of the Week! Go!
So now, time for Awesome Shit of the Week. I guess, Captain, you're asking me to go first here.
Yes.
All right, Awesome Shit of the Week. You know what? We're sitting here eating them, enjoying them. I was going to save it for next week, but I'll talk about it now. Ava's Cupcakes, man. This is totally random based on what we've already talked about in this show, but that's what I like about Awesome Shit Ninja. We will review anything. If it's cool, we will bring it to you. And Ava's Cupcakes, winner of Cupcake Wars on the Food Network. And I'll tell you what, I'm lucky I live around them because I know why. I'm sitting here eating them. They've got a pumpkin cannoli one here, a toasted coconut one, the banana guava, which Tennille had, and it will tell you it's to kill for. They bake these things fresh every day to bring into the store. Nothing's ever frozen. Talk to the woman, Michelle, who owns Ava's Cupcakes. Just awesome people. Putting out really fresh stuff. If you live in New Jersey, venture up to the Morris County area, check out Ava's Cupcakes, or check them out at avascupcakes.com. I'm a sucker for food. I'm a dessert guy. I do. So like steaks and cupcakes kind of define my entire existence. Steak and cupcakes.
See, I don't do desserts. I don't
really?
do desserts. Yeah.
Not a dessert guy? All right, so then...
very, very few desserts interest me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have 5 steaks in a row.
Sure.
But if you put
One with
a
whipped-
chocolate cake in front of me, take
one
it
with
leave
whipped cream on it. Just to do a ribeye with whipped cream
Now I'll just
for
put
dessert.
extra pepper on it.
There you
That's
go.
it. There you go.
Nice. So what is your awesome shit of the
My
week?
awesome shit of the week is brought to you by Rob Roy's, which is what I'm drinking right now.
Beautiful.
I like to have it as 3 parts scotch and 1 part sweet vermouth.
Now, do you put a cherry in it?
If it's a Rob Roy, I do not put a cherry in it.
Okay.
If I'm making a Manhattan on the rocks, I put a cherry in it.
Now, that is the mistake a lot of people make. I don't know. And because a lot of people, I have bartended in the past, and if they make the Rob Roy in an up glass, like a martini glass,
Right.
they'll put a cherry in it.
Put a cherry in it if it's
Maybe,
an up
but
glass.
you still can confuse that for a Manhattan. So,
Right. Another trick I learned with it
all right.
actually is traditionally you put a splash of bitters in it.
Sure.
If you're out of bitters, use any licorice or anise type of liqueur.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know you could do
just
that.
a little splash, and it basically mimics the bitters to a T. Unless you're getting a really distinct bitter that you like to use in your cocktails, any licorice flavored liqueur will work. Just a little splash.
Now, is there one scotch in particular that you like in your Rob Roy?
I use in my Rob Roy, I use Johnny Walker.
All right.
That's because Johnny Walker's a cheap brand.
Yeah, but if you're going to go cheap on scotch, you've got to go Johnny, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about how great Johnny is.
Meh.
Yeah.
But what are you going
to
to
better?
What are you going to get at that price point?
Right.
That's better than Johnny.
You're not going to get anything.
Right.
Right.
Right, absolutely. So if you are under 21, take my advice for awesome shit of the week and go get an Ava's Cupcake. If you are over 21, take the captain's advice and get yourself a Johnny Walker Rob Roy. And wow, I feel like a child now.
There you go.
Let's close out the show.
This has been a broadcast of Pajamas and Katanas by AwesomeShit.Ninja with your host, West, and the Captain. Special guest, Tennille, the Captain's wife. Tune in next time for more awesome shit.